Right. Good evening, everybody. A very, very welcome to this amazing session. And I always wonder, the only time I get to talk is when the people are just joining in. But once the speakers take over, then I'll have hardly any time to talk to all of you. So it's a good time. Hello to my panelists. Thank you so much, Kusum ma'am, Shabana ma'am, and Aisha ma'am to be here. It's wonderful to see have I knew I was talking to some wonderful ladies, so I put my best coat on. It has to be, isn't it, Kusum ma'am? There she is.
Hello, good evening, and thank you so much. This is a beautiful platform to be in.
Thank you so much for being here. Same across to all of you, all the participants, and everyone working in. It's wonderful. I just did a quiz last week with students, and trust me, the students were much before time. I'm not complaining, but I had an overwhelming response. So I understand the work needs to be, a little more on the parents. So
Right.
we'll just let a little more people. A lot of people are, I know, messaging me and saying, okay, thank you, and we're joining in a little time. I think the excuse of getting stuck in traffic is not there for some of the fathers who just message me, but I understand we run out of excuses.
Yeah.
Well then, thank you so much, everybody. Shabana ma'am, good evening and welcome.
Hello, Doug. It's a pleasure to be here and talking with all these panelists out here and the wonderful audiences all logging in. I guess the excuse now they would use would be internet problem, probably rather than the traffic problem, right? Yeah.
Right, right. I think we'll make a list of excuses. Of course, don't worry. The reason I ask is there are some excuses that I'm going to ask you about, the best ones that you've heard. So, as we see people joining in, the last of the panelists, Aisha ma'am, thank you so much and good evening to you as well.
Thank you so much. And great to see Kusum ma'am and Shabana uh, and other panelists. I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much.
Welcome, and
Thank
once
you.
again, every one of you, as we just continue, and as I always promise that we start as much as people join in. I love for people to come and listen to it. The recordings are available, so if you missed the first part of it, but the theme that we chose, and I was so excited to have my speakers because it's a theme that has been close to our entire 2020. Bearing our first couple of months where we actually looked at the world, the entire world was through the lens of a computer or a mobile phone. The last year was online, and we learned what online is. Earlier, online was just about Amazon, perhaps a bit of Netflix, but this time we understood you had virtual tours. I don't know. Did you do some shopping online as well, Kusum ma'am?
Oh, yes, definitely.
And I think Shabana ma'am's husband took her to Paris online. He said, "See, this is the best way to go to Paris together," didn't he?
Wonderful.
Oh,
Right.
fantastic. And Switzerland too.
Oh, so fair enough. I
Ah,
mean, why when there are no visas and tickets, why be why be
right.
stingy by one city? But I got
Mhm.
some beautiful message in the morning, and I wanted to share that message across before I go ahead. This is a teacher explaining what the online world meant to him. And I love pulling legs, but this one really touched my heart. Where he said, I talk to a graduation class, a large class across, and it's still virtual. We're excited, where we're going on real time, we're going to real classroom. So I had my last final virtual classes, and I asked everybody to open their cameras up, and as reluctant as most of the people are, the kids started opening the cameras up, and there was this one girl, and this beautiful story about this girl who was Kalai. And Kalai had a very strange background. And by the way, if you're noticing, these are all wallpapers that you see around and behind me. But Kalai had sculptures and idols and some beautiful, some architecture that was amazing. And the teacher says, Kalai, which is the strange place you're sitting in? And she says, Sir, this is right, the temple, the nearest temple to my village. And the sir surprises Kalai, you are right under the sun. And why would you sit in a temple for an online class? And this young girl says, Sir, this is the only place where I get my signal from. My strength, my signal strength, I do not get anywhere else. So she would
Wow.
travel down to her village, from her village to this temple, 6:30 in the morning. And trust me, most of us have not seen the morning sun in the pandemic. I'm not talking about some of you, the early risers. I'm talking about someone, a little bit like me, right? We've
Mhm.
forgotten to put our alarm clocks on, because why do we bother getting up early? You don't have to beat the rush hour. Kalai was sitting in the temple
Right.
because that's the only place she had, because the signal was there. She would arrive at 6:30, sweep the temple, offer the offering she had, and then wait for the teacher to start the class. And I thought it was so touching, so amazing. That is what defined online education to me. Along with Kalai, there was another story, and I think that's the only time I'll tell you my stories. Was another boy who had even stranger background. His background was all leaves, the like kind of leaves you see behind me. And the teacher says, Albani Raj, where are you? He says, Sir, I have the same story like Kalai, just that I have no temple. I have the only signal I get is under the tree. And the teacher says, I understand that, but I see leaves under the tree. I don't see any leaves. Why? Where are you upon? He says, Sir, the problem is if you look down, and he put his camera down on the mobile phone, and he saw all old people playing cards, chit-chatting. He says, the only tranquil place I got was on top of a tree. And this boy would climb on top of a tree. He said, Sir, don't worry, I'll not fall. I have a harness with me. And for 3 hours, he would sit on top of a tree and attend a class. Trust me, I don't think you have any excuse for not missing it. Thank you so much for that lovely heart, Kusum ma'am. But these are educators, that are the kind of people. And I believe the three people we've got, the three educators I've got with me, I'm so proud. I would be on top of a cloud interviewing them. Students would go to any length listening to them. And I again welcome them with folded hands. Thank you so much again, my three
Thank
wonderful
you so
people,
much.
for being on part of this show. Right then,
Thank you so much.
without any further ado, before I even introduce themselves, I have one word question to each one of them. Shabana ma'am, starting with you, online education, tiring or thrilling? One word answer.
Absolutely thrilling,
Two words, I'll
absolutely.
accept it. Wonderful, absolutely thrilling. All right, I'll come back to you of all their answers. Aisha ma'am, online education, the same question. Online education, tiring or thrilling?
At present, tiring.
All right, that's very honest answer. Absolutely, very, very tiring, at exhausting perhaps. Okay, Kusum ma'am,
Yes.
it's a tie between tiring and thrilling. What's the answer?
It's terrific.
Okay,
Ah,
wow. I mean,
Yeah. So if you're asking for a tie, it is terrific.
okay, so I know what kind of people I'm dealing with. I'll not get straight
Yeah.
answers for anyone. So the format of today's show is keep calling it show because I trust me, you would go back home with a lot of tidbits, a lot of trivia, a lot of insight into how this works. Each one of them is a stalwart in what they are doing. Let me start my session by introducing each one of them, and then today the format of the session would be they would be presenting the plenary for about 10 minutes. They will explain what programs they do, and then we'll open the floor for questions. And of course, they be better prepared. I have some quizzes coming their way online. That's the world we're talking about. Right then. So let me quickly introduce our first guest, Aisha ma'am, Aisha Lakdawala, on the show. Aisha ma'am, we will start with you, a professional teacher, 12 years of teaching. She is something amazing in terms of mathematics. I would love to hear more about what is mathletic. She is an international mathematics star, a math lover, which is what I understand. I'm sure you must be very good in numbers, and probably she's rich also, right? Because numbers and richness
thank
goes
you.
together. Aisha ma'am, thank you so much. The founder of Teachers Upload. She's actually doing something amazing with that. She called me the other day and she said, enough of this online meeting. We are meeting together, and you invite me for cakes. I can go anywhere to any length. Aisha ma'am, thank you so much to be on the show. I would love to have you begin your session before I introduce my other guest.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dawood Wade, for inviting me for such a great on a great platform. I'll start with I have started my career profession in 2016, but before uh, I used to coach student. I am specialized in math. So yes, I am international mathematic. International mathematic is like I have uh, I have taken a training in mathematics from grade K till grade 10. Right now, I am stuck to grade 10. Now I can call myself as a mathematic because I find substitute to teach them. I find substitute to teach students. Why this? Why not that? If you can search on YouTube my page, Moms and Kids Math Learning Center, there you will find some substitute of algebraic expressions, Pythagoras theorem, and everything. So this is called mathletic, who finds substitute instead of bookish curriculum and going with the pattern of book. Because students ask why this, why not that. So I make them understand why this and why not that. So
Math's
these
all
are the
about
things.
questions, isn't it, Aisha ma'am? So I just
Yes, yes,
you are
yes,
making them
yes.
think about what maths is all about. Okay, so
Yeah.
I would love you to ask some of the maths questions to my audience right now, and let's see if they can understand and decode on what maths is all about. Just a quick curious question: what made you so attracted to maths? Because I love the whole idea of STEM for gender equality, and it's
Yeah.
always supposed to be a boys subject, which is something I think I'm already getting stares from my panelists here, right? What made you love maths? I'm sure you had a handsome
Well,
maths teacher.
no, 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 not like that. I was a very, I would say, Hindi word, dabba student. And then all of a sudden, I got a tuition teacher. She was very passionate about science and math. When I was in 8th standard, from there till now, I am a math lover because she made me understand what is math actually. She made my basics strong. And what I believe, until and unless your basic is not strong, you cannot move further with anything, no matter whatever the subject is, whatever your subject is. You should, use. And math, my love for math was not numbers and everything. I love to solve things. I get deeply involved in everything, and math is a subject where you can find ways.
All right.
Definitely you
This
can
is
find ways.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Maths is all about
Yeah.
finding the solutions, and I'll come to maths
Yes.
in a while, Aisha ma'am. I'll just move to my next panelist, and we're just starting to begin and understand, and the whole idea would be how do we take this entire conversation? How do we teach maths? Perhaps would be the question I'm already getting in the direct message out there. So I'll take a little while. Let me quickly introduce my second speaker, someone I really admire a lot. You will see her all over the places because she's all over the places, and that is Kusum Kanwar, ma'am. Kusum, ma'am, so much welcome and thank you so much. Right. She is the MD of Kangaroo Kids right there in Kandivali, and she's the CEO and the founder of Add Skills. I love to hear about Add Skills so much more. She is, did we realize the lockdown chef title still goes with you? She's an amazing chef and more importantly, a lockdown chef. You should see some of her
Yeah.
recipes. She did some cooking for us on our last Minding the Mindset show. Thank you so much, Kusum, ma'am. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. So for me, online schooling is a terrific thing. And thank you, Daud and Golden Sparrow, for this terrific platform to be able to speak to so many of you. So bringing schools home is a perception that I hold very, very strong. And that's what, even Adept Skills does. So coming straight to my reason for our online preschool since March 23rd. So it's not that for 3 months we grappled. We immediately started from 23rd March 2020. And because there's a strong belief and science behind it to start, and there has to be no pause in learning.
Yeah, go
So
ahead.
as we know that 90% of the brain growth happens in the early years and from 0 to 5 years, right? And I'm speaking only on the preschool aspect here today because that's what I'm here for. So at birth, the average baby's brain being a quarter size of the size of an average adult brain, incredibly doubling in the first year, and it keeps growing to about 80% of the adult size by age 3 and 90% nearly fully grown, right? So I think most of us would know this. So by age 5, the first 5 years of a child's life are fundamentally important. Now these foundation years, and why I'm talking about this is that's what led us to do continue with learning and not pause learning. So these foundation years shapes children's future health, their happiness, their growth, their development. Thus, we never stopped teaching and started online preschool. Now, the logistics and the responsibility to make the online learning happen with parents was organized, right? Workshop on the importance of how a human brain is actually a chaotic jungle of neurons, getting wired together, where early experiences have an enormous influence on children's sponge-like brains, right? So by providing everyday activities that stimulate, the child's curiosity is what helped, or that is what is going to help create neural pathways for the children. So exposing them to a collection of stimuli was a session we took first, which gave them small experiences in the beginning. And thus our journey began, and it continues successfully.
Wow, this is nice. I mean,
Thank you.
I really love the way you mentioned about a child's, the neurons firing all over. Actually, research says that a child is born with 9 million neurons, and then mummy papa
Right.
comes on the way. So it decreases. But
Uh,
but trust me, I mean, the kind of work you do, Kusum ma'am, and I love to, just go to Shabana ma'am and come to you and ask you, I see so much of energies on the photographs. I wonder how the real classes would look
right.
like.
So you must, come and attend one of our classes, definitely.
Lovely, lovely. So let me just jump to the third panelist, Shabana ma'am. Shabana Patel, thank you so much for being here. She is the co-founder of Golden Sparrow and MBA. She is a business head of multiple roles that she's done, a technical writer, a wonderful chef as well. I think, there's an amazing panel out there with food. I would not, have any worry with, with the kind of invitations I'll get after that. Thank you and welcome, Shabana ma'am.
Thank you so much. It's really a pleasure being with all of you wonderful people out here, hoping to take back much more trivias with me and knowledge with me. And I've always been the one who wants, like, I love education. I love being in this field. When I was in my school, there was one thing I always wanted to change was the education system. And I just realized that is the only thing that hasn't changed. I've changed completely, right? So here I have a chance wherein I could do a part in bringing about a change, a revolution in the education system. And I was thinking about the topic for my talk, and I thought S for stars, very apt. It's not because S is my favorite word, my name starts from that, but because I feel when you end the session, you'll come to know why I went for this particular topic. Yeah. And I would like to introduce and open my talk with reflection and say how about realization. Usually, this is at the end of the session, but I would like you all to just think, ponder over what I have to say right now. These people, I know them personally, Rohan, Noman, Ashish. They are brilliant in their studies. They were fantastic toppers. In fact, Ashish was excellent in sports, gold, top. Okay. Now, what happens? Rohan goes to join a prestigious institute for engineering. Noman goes to UK for further studies. Ashish, he gets married, joins his father business, right? Life is not rosy. And all of a sudden, things take a drastic turn. Rohan's grades go down, his performance drops. No one's grades take a steep dive. And Ashish, because his business suffers, what happens? He becomes cold, bitter, and distant. Now, I want you all to think why, what happened. So, Daud sir, you could go ahead with your other panelists and then we can just move ahead with mine later, please.
Thank you so much for taking the conversation to the direction I wanted to take, Shabana ma'am. That yes, these are bright kids. Sometimes we lose them, and very often we see some students with a lot of potential. Perhaps I've seen some of my friends. Perhaps you can talk about a lot of people around. And very true, Shabana ma'am. Rohan or Norman or Ashish, I could see them out here. All the panelists and all the parents out there. Perhaps we see them in our children. Let's not lose anymore. What I'll do is I'll take it forward with you, Kusum ma'am, and I'll let you present because you are at the base. The apex is important, but the base is more important. And dealing with
Yes.
pre-primary students is even more difficult. I mean, getting them on a steady note, making them understand the technology, talking to them, how do you do it? I'd love to hear from you, Kusum ma'am. Let's start from where it all began, the egg, and then we'll take the chicks later.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So, before we began understanding, or to understand how we bring schools home, that's online for preschoolers. So all of us brainstorm to understand what will happen if schooling doesn't happen for a few months in the early years. And I've already told you the reason why we were so strong about it. So we all agreed schools were shut, and we believe that if children cannot go to school, we need to bring our schools to their homes, right? Meaning online schooling for all our preschoolers. So I'm happy to share how we made it happen. First, we understood the science behind the engagement, as I just spoke to you about. Then,
Mhm.
teaching life skills that is very crucial and pertinent in this ever-changing global environment. Then, third was that the curriculum content. So we needed the best blend of the online and inline school mode for peer connection and home-based learning, right? So we also fathom now, or even in fact in the beginning itself, that blended, flipped, and hybrid modalities is the future. Now, our early years focus has always been on developmental goals. So the early years, they need constant supervision, more social nourishment than academic nurturing. Yes. So is that for me now,
No, no,
or
no, no, no.
I
It's
can
for
just
yes, yes. Please
okay?
go ahead. Please go ahead, ma'am.
Right, right. So now the basic guidelines or techniques chalked out as we implemented, for the remote home-based learning for our preschoolers. So so there were three things that we kept in mind. So for a teacher, it had to be the child connection online through probably FaceTime video chats and remote home-based learning activities and online as well. For the parent, it had to be a parent-child interaction, activities that parents can do with their children, sending like we would send them fun videos to watch together on phonics or numbers or games and activity stories also. Child independent activities, very important, that is doing your yoga, doing home chores and activities that a child can do with minimal help. So another question was on dealing with the screen time aspect, right? Learning online, for early years, because that was the biggest thing. I think even now when parents ask that, why screen time for such small children for early years. So it's a fact that children are watching content, in any case online, not meant for them. What I mean by that is either on television and mobile phones. So more so as parents, we're grappling now with work issues and we're unable to give them enough time. So in this scenario, when a child is getting an age appropriate engagement online with their own teachers or videos was a welcome solution. So, limited and smart use of screen time with blended learning was brought in. Activities planned in the way that moves from one to the next, in a matter of, say, probably 5 to 7 minutes. Mostly music of movement, stories, playing games, also animal yoga, lots of laughing. We do a lot of laughing and we do a lot of dancing and music and movement, as you see, things that I post as well, right? Exchange smiles, count objects, we are naming colors, guessing letters, and so on. Whatever we do, in a physical setup. So we are introducing everything through play. As children develop, we know that the foundational social, emotional decision making, executive functioning, academic skills through play. So
Wow.
teachers often being facilitators, we are building upon the children's natural curiosities. Now we inspire a lot of play. We started off with curating spaces with open-ended materials, right? That kindle children's engagement with their surroundings. Now the next question was, so what kind of spaces will we require at home to bring schools home for preschoolers? So we did some design thinking and suggested rearranging home corners and use every part, like the kitchen, the balconies, the terraces, etc., not just living rooms, right? So
Wow.
in schools, as it is, we teach children concepts, creating informal settings. So we create those settings, in schools. So sometimes we are creating a kitchen corner, we are creating reading corners, we are creating our doll house, and now we were in real time spaces. So what can stop us? So as a school, we also model the 4 learning zones to learners, which most of the schools do it. So, which something that stimulates the connection in the brain, right? And also, it has to be brain, muscles, and movement. Now, social emotional, the first I would go in for physical zone, activities affecting learning and movement, that which stimulates connections in the brain. Then social emotional development, essential for self-awareness. And I'll not go into the details, but yes, the four, the cognitive and the language development, the cooperative learning zone, focusing on how children apply the learned knowledge that could be taken up in kitchens, in balconies, etc. So as homes already had an informal setting where children have the free movement to access these automatic surroundings, so we encourage them to use all the spaces, right? So just by dividing, their homes into zones was a game changer for children, right?
Wow.
Example, some
Yes.
homes created a library area, storybooks at a lower, height, which could easily be reached by children. Now, a cooperative zone created in another corner where the child chooses to do some more activities like painting, like drawing, like writing, set up storytelling, etc. in this zone. So every time children change their settings and physiology, it helps stimulating and energizing the brains, right? That's the science behind it. So actually it's true for all of us as well, even as adults. And the kind of workshops that have taken on changing the settings and the physiology, it has worked for all of us also. So and we use this a lot in our classes. So like I told you, that there is a science behind physiology. Now, to facilitate the 7 developmentally age appropriate skills in early years in these zones, that's your language skills, preceded by listening, your physical, social, emotional, your cognitive, that's your focus and precision, your sense of balance. That's what we forget about these preschoolers, that that this is an important developmental skill. That's your sense of balance, sense of body awareness also. Very simply, any activity or action which is done by children needs to impact the brains, their muscles and senses in the children every day. Now, I'd like to share a few examples of home-based activities that's successfully done online. Uh, for example, an art that is, it could be blow painting technique done
Okay.
using the straw to blow the paint on the paper. Now, the teacher gets the children into a conversation first, asking questions to get the children thinking before they even begin the art form. So, how can I get the paint to move and dance across the paper using just a straw? So, imagine the kind of answers that the teacher will get. Just the imagination of and creativity of every child and what they have with them, because you're asking them questions, not telling them do it, straight away.
Right, right.
So the teacher is accepting all answers to come in, to keep in mind that this technique encourages exploration, investigation, and scientific thought. So there are a lot more examples. So do you want me to continue, or I can
No,
come back later?
the first word that comes to me, Kusum ma'am, is ingenuity. I mean, just using spaces in the house, which is amazing. I'm wondering, IKEA is already looking for brand ambassador, and you might be one of them. So, where they're
Oh,
creating
sure.
new spaces for them. But trust me, the
Absolutely.
way you mentioned, the children are not restricted to just a laptop or a mobile phone or a tab. You're taking them around. And what better than people
Yes.
from Mumbai, where we do not leave any
Right.
space in a house? We know how to create spaces, don't we? But
Yes.
that's so beautiful. That's really, I mean, I love the way you explain a teacher's conversation style. These are things that perhaps we take back and say it is all about perception, that no online
Right,
classes are
right,
restricted to a mobile phone. The
right,
second
right.
element you
Absolutely.
mentioned about conversation with teachers, and there's someone who really does a lot of empowering sessions for teachers, is
Mm,
Aisha ma'am. Aisha ma'am,
mm.
just tell me about your initiative about Teachers Upload, and what do you do with regards to empowering and training the teachers.
Thank you. I'll begin with Kusum, ma'am. I'm really impressed that you are doing such a great job, ma'am, designing some spaces and working for teachers' life skill. Really great to hear that. I'll start with this that online education is a popular buzz now, right? So, just a flashback to March 2020. Schools got closed, and then students were happy to be at home. Right.
Nice.
After a while, online studies started. Students were excited, curious to know, and they were very happy to know what online education is all about. Because in India, we have never heard before, like where we are in environment, we have never done that before. Okay, you learning using laptops and smartphones. These things were very new for them. Interacting with teachers and other peers online and learning online, these things were very new for them. Then slowly what happened, this COVID-19 forced to adopt us a remote learning teaching, and this approach has allowed at least some engagement between faculty and student.
True.
Okay, now what happened later? What I believe, that replicating a classroom through communication tools such as Microsoft Team and Zoom, we are right now what we are seeing in the name of the what we say digital education can be summed up as a bored student and exhausted teachers. Right?
Okay.
Why? Because we are not prepared. We are not prepared. We are unprepared. Still, we are unprepared. What I believe, I personally believe that teachers should take initiative to create some, live environment, that students should take keen interest in online education. For students now, when they come online, they feel anxious, worried, and tired. At some point, we see their faces, they're getting bored. They off their videos. We are not able to see them. We are not aware whether they are sitting in front of the screen or not. They might be roaming here and there. These situations might happening, and I'm sure even sometimes we get bored with the webinars and we go off and we just come एक काम करके आ जाते हैं. We just plan it in a mind. Okay, so somewhere we get bored with the online education. So what teachers can do is teachers can create interesting things out of it. For example, there are many movies. Home Alone, like we can use this movie Home Alone. This is such an interesting movie. uh, Even we are as an adult, we as a teacher feels whenever we see these kind of movies, we take interest. No matter how many times we have already watched these movies,
Absolutely.
still we take that interest in watching these movies. So like online, yes, I believe that online has set some limits for us, though we can find substitute. Okay, so instead of giving worksheets and boring assessment, we can use these kind of substitute. Like you can make them watch these movies, and you can use Home Alone as a comprehension kind of. You can tell them to see the movie, create a passage out of it. The vocabulary, it helps in learning new vocabulary. Students find different words, and they can use a dictionary to find the meaning of it. Many things teachers can do. These goes for the higher grades. Again, come to if we come for lower grades like grade 1 and 5, we can do the you have heard about the book, which we have seen the movie also, the City of Ember.
Okay.
The movie and the book both have a different things. I would like to share some pictures of those, like worksheet which we I have created. I just wanted to share with you all.
Please go ahead.
I hope.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can share. And it's very interesting you use Home Alone when everybody is at home. We are never alone at home now in the last 1 month. My wife wishes to use Home Alone, but it's an interesting choice of a movie.
Yeah, see, this the worksheet I have created. When these can be used for, I hope everybody can see this.
I will try to send it across to the participants also. And yes, I
Sure,
can see the
sure.
worksheet on terms of what you're asking from it. Yes. The fonts are small, but fair enough. Okay, so these are. So let me take it forward and let me show you the City of Ember as a movie screen. Can I do that, Aisha ma'am? If the screen, can I reshare it?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, so I'll just share this. This is a movie she's talking about. Uh, a good choice of movie after Home Alone. Fair enough.
Hmm.
So, can I summarize what you just said? Very interestingly, I love to have the perspective that people share that yes, too much of online, the world we are living in. I mean, you can still go ahead, but what I really feel is the areas we can work on. I like what Aisha ma'am is doing, empowering teachers. And something I strongly believe in, that you don't just have to come and do the same lesson plans you are doing in regular classrooms, because online is not regular classroom. Something like Bitmoji is amazing. You create new faces around from it. You use learning tools like Mentimeter, Kahoot. There are opportunities that are unlimited. Yes, virtual tours of museum, the Smithsonian Museum in Australia, the Australian Zoo. These are areas we do virtual tours on. So we take the conversation what Aisha ma'am said a little forward on what are we exactly teaching in online education. To my final panelist, Shabana ma'am, why don't you add up where the whole topic that you spoke about or wanted to add on? S is for stars, S is for skills. Where do we go, Shabana ma'am, from there? And yes, Naam Shabana, will remember that.
Thank you so much. Kusum, ma'am, where were you when I was growing up? I would be so amazed and happy having somebody like you,
Yeah.
like with all those skills and all. And Aisha, ma'am, fantastic. Yes, that's what we require, empowering our teachers, because at the end of it, for a success, it is very, very important, right? Schools
Hmm.
are not about the ACs, the infrastructure, or the curriculum. It's always been about teachers, teachers, and teachers. So fantastic.
Thank
Going
you.
ahead with what I said right now, the pondering and the reflection, yes, what happened? And this is what happened. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. So I'll show you a video. So probably it would be lakh words. Am I right, Aisha ma'am, with the maths thing? I hope I'm going correct. Yeah. Okay. So this is where we go ahead. Okay. The school system is so rigid, it is so formal that it has become like a production unit, okay, wherein we are just manufacturing, the way the products are manufactured, standard students. There is no originality, there is no uniqueness. The children have lost their creativity. And there is no, like skills in them. Everything has come to a standstill. It's like you cannot distinguish between from one child to another. And this is a very, very sad story. The school system that we are currently having, it enhances more of rote learning. The reason being, they're teaching the curriculum rather than the child. Their focus, their aim, their vision is just to get, 100% marks and the best of marks in the SSC, in the 10, and they have a name in it, rather than the development of the child. And what happens when this kind of school, the syllabus is structured in such a way that it encourages, promotes rote learning, children start stressing. There's so much of exam fear. Why they stress? Because they don't understand what is being taught to them. And research says that we always fear what we don't understand, right? Hence the stress level rises. When the child is forced to memorize something, it's like it creates borders and walls in their mind. They don't explore or expand their thoughts, and they do not, it's like a barrier that has been created to their imagination, because they only concentrate on what is required for the exam. Eventually, what happens? The child loses focus, and the stress and the fear and lack of concentration leads to them losing interest in the subject. And finally, what happens? Not only they lose interest in the subject, it also happens that they lose interest in their studies, right? And then we blame the child for it. This Mr. John Dewey, a progressive education creator, he believed that education should also equip students to take a full and active part in shaping their future society. They should learn life skills necessary to develop them as individuals and citizens. Are we doing that? Are schools equipped to do that? And it's a very sad scenario looking at Rohan and Oman and definitely Ashish that it is not happening. However, like Mark Twain has said something so beautiful. Don't let schooling interfere with your education. And I'm so glad we have Yeah, people like Kusum ma'am and Aisha ma'am, who are actually torchbearers for this particular slogan of Mark Twain. To take it on a lighter note, this is a scene from a very famous web series, okay? And the person sitting on the chair is Mr. Shukla, and he asked the person sitting on the ground, recite one mala, and if you recite it correctly, I'll save your life, okay? Apparently, he starts with ka, ka, ga, and yes, Kusum ma'am is smiling, so I think she's aware about it. And he fumbles and he forgets, right? And it's a sad end. Obviously, he loses his life. I'm just thinking, did rote learning really help him? Maybe if he had learned the skills, life skills, which are required, like communication or decision making, or coping up with stress, he would have definitely, maybe the outcome would have been much more different. Okay, right. Now moving on. Okay, let's not just blame the schools, for rote learning and memorizing and stressing and all. There is a hidden trap, everybody. Okay, and I would like to shed a new perspective, take a rote learning and this course memorization from a different viewpoint, a different dimension, and that would be we as parents out there. Absolutely. I am sorry to say this, but yes, we want the best for a child, and giving the best somehow we force them in a rat race. It all begins with, मम्मा मुझे भूख नहीं लगी कि मुझे खाना है, नहाना नहीं है, नहीं तुम्हें खाना पड़ेगा, mama I'm not feeling cold, oh no it's so cold, you have to wear sweaters. you know right from beginning you decide what he wears, what he eats, where he goes, where everything you take away, you know the skill of decision making. You take away the skill of self awareness from him. He cannot decide for himself. You take away the skill of creativity and analytical. Okay, there are times, when there are like small mild, sibling disagreements or disagreements between friends. Yeah, and even before it's like one word is out, you just step in like a referee and, oh, stop. Don't do that. You've seen lion cubs. How do they grow? Of course, they learn and they play and they, even scratch each other. But in the end, they grow up as lions and they rule. Remember, encourage them in a healthy way. Let them talk to themselves. Let them know what they want. Let them learn to agree and disagree. It is very important. Nowadays, there is no tolerance. They cannot disagree. They cannot take it. They don't know how to cope with stress. They don't know how to put their word forward without being offensive. Why is this happening? Because somewhere the schools and we at home are doing that. And the worst is always hovering around them, spoon feeding them, making everything tailor made. The project is for your child, not for you. It's between the children, not the parents. And apparently, that's what happens. Then what happens is we lose everything. And Sir Ken from Britain said something very beautiful. Does schooling, eradicate creativity? Instead of growing into it, we are growing. And definitely, it is very sad case because life skills are something which are very important. Life is going to be beautiful always if you have these skills to cope up with life. And it is, and it's like in the future, every educational endeavor will have to ask itself whether and to what extent it promotes learning activities that are helping children develop life skills which are vital, very important to coping with the key issues in their lives and for their survival.
That's wonderful,
Are we
Shabana.
ready for that? Are we doing that? That is very important. And we at Golden Sparrow are definitely doing it. This pandemic has changed so many things, and one of them is education. We never thought we'll have an online education. Like we teachers, I'm sure Kusum ma'am, Aisha ma'am, you agree with us. We are practically living in our children's house, okay? The parents, the family, everybody can hear us, they can see us. And here our outcome has never changed. Our focus has been student, their overall development, not just academics, but academics, their mental. We had a mental health month in December, and their emotional well-being as well. Because finally, it is very, very important that we prepare. They are our future leaders, and we prepare them accordingly. Our sessions, our assignments, our English sessions are wherein they have to be the, like when IPL season was going on, they were the ones who were the commentators. And what awesome! Imagine the English, the vocab, the speed way they have to talk, the voice modulation. They all learned in one assignment. We do SDGs, and we have Life and Land, SDG number 15, and we had our children dressing up as UN ambassadors of different countries. Imagine the level of confidence that goes up, the communication that has been developed. Science is all about, mixing and, like, all hands on. You said the movie Home Alone. Oh, for us it's always Marvel. It's like Marvel Avengers, they love them. And we go around Marvel Avengers, the Terminators and all that. Remember, it's overall development of a child and not just your academics. It's like every time everyone is striving for this, the school, the parents, the child, this graduation certificate and having a merit and, topper written out there. But tell me one thing, what is more important is the certificate. Yes, it is, but how much value I have added to that certificate, how much value, how much weightage I have added to the certificate. In school we have taught to count, okay, but what do we count is also very, very important. This certificate is not just a paper or an, like a ticket for a better job or a great job, or in most cases, having a fantastic spouse. No, this certificate should be an endorsement, absolute endorsement that yes, you are equipped to survive anything life throws at you, that you will shine and you will dream.
I
This
love the
should
way,
be
right.
not just academic, but overall skills for your entire life, right?
Shabana
And
ma'am, I love the
I
way
would
you
just
add something.
conclude with
Just
all
just
the parents
interrupting.
who are out here, kindly do not encourage your children in rat race, right? Remember, all your children are stars. They are born stars. They are unique. They are, like sparkling. They are original. Okay, they are very, very special. So remember, let them shine. Let them be who they are, and they will create a win. Remember, all we as a parent and a teacher has to do is create magic for them, and they will definitely succeed. So I
Fair
think that
enough.
would be what I had to say. It's like the importance of life skills along with the academic without sir. And
Right, right,
yes, I
absolutely.
do agree with Kusum ma'am and Aisha ma'am on these matters.
No, no, I think I was so happy when you brought up the certificates where you don't need certificates. Otherwise, I would not be into education. My certificates definitely not count as anything worth doing. But of all the things we heard, and I hope the people who are coming and hoping so much expectations, there are answers that you end up here. One of the answers people keep asking me that, what about the boards? I said, boards are always never the destination, but milestones. If you have to travel to Pune or Lonavala, you get these milestones, how many kilometers up and down. Please remember, your 10th and 12th are those milestone indicators. They are not your destinations. I see that as the crux of what I'm seeing in online education. Today, you are not at the mercy or the dearth of a local teacher or a local school. It's not about local schools, it's about bringing the entire world online to you. And of course, what I heard from all three of you, online is tough work. I got some questions in DM, and people can open up and chat and let me know. Let me take one question to each one of you before I have some questions for little fun questions across. But Kusum ma'am, there was a question that came, that how do you make sure that the tiny tots are at least engaged on a screen? People think that it's very difficult, and that's a genuine question I see from mothers across. So fathers don't have any idea what's going online, so don't worry about that.
Yeah. No, surprisingly, in our school, we have either the mom sitting in or the dad sitting in. So we do
Hmm.
have that kind of engagement. And when we're talking about, these little toddlers, I think it's very important what Ms. Shabana also said about, there has to be engagement. We have to engage these children, and it has to be so creative and positive. So we do something called storytelling. Now, this can be taken through active engagement, and that's exactly what we do. So we have dress up, we have dances, we have images, we have picture books, we have math equations or songs. And this is the most fundamental way that we can communicate with children. So we know that stories help children, the skill part of it, Shabana ma'am. So we know stories help to develop empathy. So that's what we are doing. We're cultivating imagination, divergent thinking, developing critical thinking skills. So there's no question of children not being engaged. And because we have created those kind of spaces, we're taking them to different spaces to do that. So there is not a single moment that, a child is getting bored or a parent is getting bored. Now we did something, and we do everything that is what we do in a physical school, right? And of
Yes.
course, seeing is believing, and I definitely invite you all for one of our sessions. Of course, I don't have any live sessions on social media, so probably you'll have to come,
Zoom in.
log in into my school account and see. Yeah, Zoom. Yes, I can give you a Zoom ID. So we did
Right.
something called seed germination. So lots of people wonder how we did seed germination. And it's so simple if we actually put our minds together. So when we expose children to seed germination. What was it? First, we start with the casual conversation around what they eat and the plants around them, leading to sprouting and seed germination, right? And the
Okay.
point to keep in mind here is on the conversations, that in itself is one of the most powerful learning tools.
Wow.
So we use conversation and communication as most powerful learning tools. Your children are exploring, they're discovering and creating and seeing a plant grow. And this is real experiential learning. If you go to see,
I love that part.
children have grown their own microgreens at home, and there's a unique sense of achievement, teaching them nurturing skills to create something new, laying the seeds, foundations of innovations, creativity, this wonder, it's magic, appreciating life and growth. So now, as they're playing in the physical zone, like I told you that we have these different zones that we have created, the four zones. So we specifically focus on physical activities, right? Like throwing ball, simple exercises at home, props made out of probably dupattas, etc. at home to form circles, squares. And in fact, presently we are practicing for a sports day online, and
Wow.
I'm
That's nice.
amazed by not only the enthusiasm of the children and parents, nonetheless, the creativity of the teachers too,
Oh, I think
who
this
are
deserves
gearing up.
applause.
Yes, and in fact, we are not only going to do sports day, we'll also do our annual concert. So I think, I can invite, all of you as special
I'm
guests,
so
and, we
amazed
can
at
do
the ideas,
that.
and I'm sure all the seed germination have become a plant, and in a few years down, they'll become oak trees.
Yes,
Yes, and bear fruits as
yes.
well.
I
But
hope so.
it is so. I'm amazed that every time I ask you and you give practical answers, which is so beautiful.
Yes.
Uh, Let me jump from
Yeah.
one of with the children immediate to the teachers. Aisha ma'am, there was a question across. How do you handle adversity in children? I put it across. Teachers were mentally disturbed at some point of time, and because you do empowering session, Aisha ma'am, how do you handle mental health of the teachers online? What do you do for them? Could you unmute and speak up, Aisha ma'am, please?
Yeah. For that, see, we know that we already have a pressure from schools and from then this home environment we have. But as a teacher, when we were working, when we used to go school, we had that mindset that this time we have to be in school, leaving our home behind. So that environment we can create out of it. We can do that. Definitely, we can do that. For students who are waiting for us, so the teacher is going to come and she's going to give us so interesting lessons and everything. So even the teachers should have that responsibility, right? Even in this pandemic or with this online education. Why? Because this on why we are doing this online education, because there are some restrictions. We cannot go out, but
True.
we are working for them still. We are working for them still. We should have that responsibility in ourselves, that when if we are moving out of the house, we have a mindset that this much time we are going to give to school, why not at home we can give that
That's
much of time.
wonderful.
I understand we have kids at home, we have double work at home, but it is equal. Now right now we have so many person at home, we can equally distribute our work. We can make our students understand that work is equally important. Right now I am sitting in front of you, I made my kids sit outside and made them understand that this webinar is important for me, so I need some time. So these things we can do, that I empower teachers in very live example. I don't give them any unreality things and everything. I don't just put on things on them, I also implement them. If I
That's
am giving
wonderful.
you session, yeah, I also implement them. What I do, I say, I am sitting here, I'm sitting in front of the student where I give them online sessions. Like if I talk about math, I say them, I'm giving them the question. I don't even give them the question, sometimes I give them the answer, create question out of it. I make them understand that you people are important for me. These things we can do for children. Why we can be an innovator. We can be an innovator. We as a teacher should understand these things, that we are having responsibility of those kids which will be the future of India,
Wow, I love the
right?
way you mentioned that
Yeah.
there's so much of responsibility and being innovative. My last question to panelists before I open up, and I'm getting some work. All right, thank you so much, Khushbu ma'am. The rock star out there is I love her sessions out there. Says teachers' work is work too. Absolutely sure. And Shabana ma'am, I love everything on online, but you can't play football online. I mean, I just heard about a sports that I love to. All right, Kusum ma'am, catch here, and there she caught it already. The ball's in her court now. Shabana ma'am, how do you balance the two? I mean, I love to
Well,
swim online.
actually, we played online also at Golden Sparrow Hub.
Right?
Yeah. So, anyways, for the circle time, we had the kids, dribbling the ball around and everything. But what is more important is like you could have some physical activities. Maybe you could have like kickboxing for them, or maybe you could have some kind of physical education for them, which would be very helpful. It is very important also to have breaks, intervals between your two sessions. Having back to back sessions is not only tiring, but it's like after some point, they'll just lose focus completely. They won't be able to concentrate. So like Kunso ma'am said, it's very important, like you change the physiological change that you make. So maybe when you have your session at 40 minutes, after that you give them a 10-minute break, ask them to go around, have a drink, and maybe just stretch their legs and come back again. And
That's nice.
now that the pandemic is, oh yes, we did have a camping. I'm sure you're aware about it with the Golden Sparrow kids. We took them out for a camping, and the response we got from the parents was like absolutely positive. They said like the things the children did love with us going for a holiday, they learned in just one outing with your school. So
That's
I think
wonderful. That's wonderful. I heard about your
great.
barbecue nights and I heard about the scary ghost stories that you did said on the camping. It is wonderful. So I've got a lot of input and this will be recorded. This is being recorded. I'll put it online at the Golden Sparrow and Sky Education's website and YouTube channel. Here is something that you all expect that I don't leave you without pulling your little legs out there. I've heard about three amazing women coming together, Teen Tigras. There's something called Bigra, I don't know. So all three of you are teaming up, ganging up, and we are going to gang up all the other participants. I'm going to ask you some questions. The rest of you can use your chats, and whoever gets it first, and I'm the judge, so we'll decide who wins. All right. So the three of my panelists can unmute themselves. I'll ask you questions. We'll give you the first opportunity.
Yeah.
If you give me better answers, you win. You get a point. If we win, we get a point. All right.
Okay.
So, are
All
you
right.
all ready, my three team members, my panelists? And
Yes.
rest of you,
Yes.
Yes.
please make sure you put the chats on. It's open chat to everybody. Let's see what answers you give. So, go ahead and I write the answers.
Right.
Simple questions. I'll ask you questions in threes. First thing is
Hmm.
three things that you can do on a Facebook. We are doing online education. Quickly, just have to speak up. You don't have to write it down for me.
Okay.
On
So
Facebook,
three things. There are lots of things we can do, and
I
so
can
I
make
would
new
like to.
friends.
Yeah, Aisha
Yes.
ma'am,
Okay.
quickly. All right. Go ahead.
She's going to make new friends. I'm going to make besan laddus.
Okay,
Because
Besalandus make new
yeah,
Well,
friends.
I'm not interested in
yes,
cooking.
Okay, all
yes,
right.
no, because it's a
No,
huge
no, no.
learning. It's a
Right,
huge
right. I got
learning.
the
So not
point.
only
But
yes,
so there's someone who says unlike a post, and I like that point from the participants. Sorry about it.
uh-huh,
Surbi says news feed like unlike. I think Surbi will give to a panelist. She's something very
uh,
interesting, make friends and all. So it's shared. All right, 1 point each. Okay, quickly. Gandhiji's three monkeys. Absolutely right. If they had three names, what would the monkeys be called? Quickly, go ahead. You can name your kid Shabana, ma'am. I know Abdullah is one of the monkey, but otherwise, what would the names of the monkey be? Come on, creativity, innovation. I can see some of you answering. The panelists are struggling. Come on, my audiences. Tom, Dick, and Harry.
so
Ashraf
it could
says from
be, yeah,
Delhi.
it could be virtual, it could be virtual, it could be mute, and it could also be,
Okay,
speak up. Am
mute,
I
virtual,
audible?
and speak
Am I,
up. Oh,
yeah,
that's nice.
yeah,
Thank you so
am
much.
I audible?
Am I
Yeah,
audible?
we have said so much.
I
Yeah.
love these names. I think I'll give you the point. Farhana says all the three brothers she has. It's Yahya, Muhammad, and Abdullah. I like the three monkeys that she has at her home, but that's wonderful. But I think Farhana will give to her because they just connected with the Zoom thing. All right. So two to the panelists, one to all of us. Name any three
Hey.
characters from the Harry Potter movie. Come on, you can't get it right. Mehwish ma'am, Three Idiots. I
Yeah.
love that part.
Harry Potter,
Harry Potter. Yeah.
Hermione, and okay,
Oh, the
Draco
one.
Malfoy. That's my daughter's
Yes.
favorite. Draco
Yes.
Oh,
Malfoy.
Correct.
Rabia ma'am says Dumbledore. I love
Dumbledore.
Dumbledore.
Yes.
Snape is
Dumbledore. Yeah.
wonderful, but they gave us first. So we'll give them keep on giving points. We get points also, participants. So it's 3-2.
Right. Right.
The panelists are three, we are two. Come on, let's make it more difficult for them. Three IPL teams, quickly.
Three IPL
Rajasthan
teams.
Royals,
Mumbai.
Mumbai
Yeah.
Indians,
Mumbai
and
Indians.
Delhi Daredevils.
Kolkata,
Yes.
Kolkata Knight Riders, Kolkata Knight
Oh
Riders.
yes, Kolkata Knight Riders. All right, guys, we are a little slow. The
Okay, we
chat's a little
win.
slower than them. So 4-2,
Yeah.
we are
Yeah.
still not doing good. All right, three type of coffees that you made in the pandemic.
Uh,
Dalgona coffee,
below. Yeah.
yeah, normal hot coffee, and then cold coffee.
Cold
Dalgona
coffee.
Black
hot
Yes.
and coffee. Anything else?
black
Yes.
black coffee without sugar,
Black
black coffee
coffee.
with
Yes.
cinnamon, black coffee with tea, with lemongrass. That's
My
it.
goodness, three kind
Yes.
of
True.
black
True.
coffees.
True. True.
Iced coffee. I got
Yes.
black coffee from Surabhi, ma'am. Mango coffee. Malika, ma'am. I would love to come. Bulletproof coffee. Malika, ma'am, unmute and tell
Bulletproof.
me.
Yeah.
That's lovely. I
Yeah.
love the coffees out there. Fantastic. Filter coffee. Yeah, Aparna, ma'am. I was looking for filter coffee. You get a point for filter coffee, but it's 5-3 now. We're doing good. All right. Three fairy tales where the princess rescue the prince. Come on, let's do gender equality goal number
Princess
5.
rescue the prince.
Right. I don't want
That
Cinderella.
is actually that's in reality, though, sir. So
Oh
forget
my
the fairy
goodness.
tales. We always rescue our princess, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, we
Absolutely.
definitely do.
Wonderful student Farhana says Mulan, and I love this answer, Mulan. I'm not taking the answer from you, Shabana ma'am. I'm making
Okay,
it 5
Moana,
3.
Moana,
Mulan, very, very nice
and the
movie, Mulan.
frog and the princess, I think.
Oh yes, there's mermaid,
Yes.
there's
This. Yeah.
Moana. All right, I think that's our point. Rapunzel, absolutely, Aisha ma'am. It's Rapunzel out there.
Rapunzel.
There's Aisha
Yes.
Siddiqa who's saying that. I love. Khushbu ma'am says all women teachers rescued the world. Oh my goodness, I have to give that point.
Wonderful.
We
Yes.
get 2 points
Yes.
bonus,
Agree,
Khushbu
agree,
ma'am, for
agree.
your answer. It's 5-5 now. I've got 3 answers. All right, tell me,
Hmm.
it's a dangal question, right? Amir Khan's dangal. Name the three
Uh,
daughters of Mahavir Singh Fogart. Come on, panelist.
all right. Okay. Oh, I had it
I
on my
get Babita
mind.
out there. All right.
Babita. Yes. There's Babita. There's Geeta.
Okay.
And no, I don't know about. Yeah. Is there a Bobby? No, I don't know. Yeah.
There is Babita, there is
Geeta and
Geeta.
Babita.
Come
Yes.
on, give me the third
Yeah.
one. Whoever gets the third one gets 1 point. Sonali
Sorry, the
Fatima ma'am
question
Got
was.
says,
it.
I usually say Sita, Geeta, Babita, Sangeeta. You know, as long as it's right.
Ah.
So it's a tie. Nobody gave me the third one. So it's 6-6 going good. All right. Let's do this. This is interesting. Uh
Huh.
three airline heads. Any owners of the
Hmm.
airline. Making difficult. Travel's not there. Any three
Hmm.
airline heads that come to your mind. I know one.
So Ratan Tata, of course. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Ratan
Okay.
Tata. Then this Virgin Airlines.
Richard
What's his
Branson.
name?
Absolutely, Kusum
Yeah,
ma'am. We
Richard
getting the ticket now
Branson.
from Golden
Yes.
Sparrow. You're getting
Yeah.
the British Airways now.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Yes. And who do we have
And
here?
everybody on the
Uh,
chat is writing Vijay Malia, whose airline is defunct, but he's
yeah.
really out there. But now Subrata Roy, okay, I get some good answers out
Yeah.
there. But I think the panelists are doing better than us. They give better answers. So I'll give you Vijay Malia has no airline, by the way. Ambani has a
Yeah.
private
Yeah.
jet. I love that answer.
Ambani. Yeah. Yeah. Got
Fantastic.
his, yeah, private
Okay, but
plane.
it's still 6-5 to them. Three movies of Ranveer Singh. Come on. Let's
Oh,
see how much
okay.
Netflix and how many movies they watched.
I know not much. Yeah.
Baja
Okay.
Barat.
Bajirao Mastani, of course.
Okay. All right. Simba and Ramleela. Okay.
Yeah.
I think we are
Simba.
getting. Don't worry. Don't worry. You just quit on this one.
Yeah.
It's 6-6. It's 6-6. We are doing good. I think with that 6-6, we
Okay.
are we are doing really well. I think the panelists are really good. They are against all 70 or how many of us, all 50 of us, and they are doing very good. They're holding their own,
Yes.
isn't it? All right. So tell me three amazing books that you will recommend for all the parents to read, or even students. Go ahead, panelists. Any three books you'll recommend for us? Which one?
So, of course, I would always say make your bed.
Oh, I love that. Yes, Admiral
Yes,
Machiavelli.
I
That's a
love
lovely
that.
book.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, I love that. And also something on resilience. There is
Okay.
a book on resilience
There's
and
Angela Duckworth's
Ikigai.
Grit. Okay, that's good.
Yes, yes, and Ikigai.
Ikigai. Oh, I love that. What? Who's that lady who
Yeah.
keeps coming and telling you how to make up your bed and wardrobes and all? Mary Kondo. Oh my goodness, this lady is all over the
Kondo,
place.
yeah.
All right, thank you so much. And I
Yes.
get some good answers out there. Rabia ma'am says 1 minute manager who moved my cheese.
Yeah.
Uh, uh,
Matches. Yes.
right. Why didn't anybody tell me? What didn't they tell you, Shabana ma'am? That's a nice book title. Robin Sharma is very popular. Think like a leader who will cry after you die. I think pandemic has taught us that when you don't read, it's not the lack of time, it's the lack of will, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think one of the best things that have happened is you started reading more, people started interacting over families, the dinners, the fathers
Mhm.
had no other excuse, they had to sit together, had
Right.
dinners
Right.
together.
Absolutely.
We did some good Netflixes also. Money Heist was wonderful, Professor was
Mhm.
good.
Yes, yes,
Overall, I
yes.
think a wonderful year. COVID did bring a lot of challenges. We had losses, personal and in families and people we knew, but it also brought
Oh
the word
yes.
you use, resilience in all of us. We were more grateful, we were more
Yeah.
resilient. I think that's what I believe we take back in 2021. The online education may be a little tiring. I understand some of the views, but it's equally thrilling the opportunities it can give. We can virtually talk.
Mm.
So on that note, I have a all right, don't worry. Yeah, yeah. These are the perils of online education. Don't worry, I'll mute people around as they go ahead. I have a little bit to share, just a little work. If you just give me 5 minutes to work on the work I did last year on Golden Sparrow on what I did. So give me some time to just share what we have done. A little bit of work. E-learning is real, and this is not just one organization or one brand, but trust me, the students are learning universities online. I hear Elon Musk, Elon Musk is always on Twitter. He tweeted the other day that if somebody comes with an MIT degree and somebody comes having done a Coursera course, I would prefer a Coursera course because there's smart
Mm.
content and there's smarter teachers. Three of them, you're already watching them here. Also, in 2021, some of the things I heard, and so Professor Sugata Mitra, someone I admire a lot,
Mhm.
says that
Mhm.
still unsure with the hygiene facility. And when I say hygiene, you know, uh, that's what I'm looking at, especially at the pre-primary level. You don't have to worry. Mothers don't have to worry about lunch boxes and school buses and uniform. Online pre-primary is very cool. It is a transparent
Yeah.
system. You can watch them, you can see them, the recordings are done. This is what I see online world. How does it
Mhm.
work? In simple work, the work I do with Golden Sparrow, it's just three things. You need Zoom. You can use webinar modes. You can use Meet. You can use Microsoft WebEx. The idea is an application. There is Google Classroom for all your assignments, and there's
Mhm.
simple timetable
Mhm.
you follow. It's an easy format where online is. What can you teach?
Mhm.
I ask you what you cannot teach. Besides the regular
Mhm.
academics, you have got economics, you have got psychology, you have got business studies, data entry, arts. I see yoga happening, I see SDG happening. I mean, the world literally is in your home or on your mobile phone.
Absolutely.
A lot of people ask me this question, so I put this specifically inside that what about the boards? Trust me, I am board agnostic. I think it's the idea of a board is to prepare you for life.
Mm.
So it could be a CBSE, and I'm proud CBSE student, and I think I'm good enough. Don't you think,
Mhm.
Kusum ma'am? Yeah, I'm fair enough.
Mhm.
I've
Oh
come up
yes,
well. Yeah.
definitely. Oh
Thank
yes.
you so much for endorsement. My wife is listening. That's why I asked you. I need some testimonies after 16 years of marriage. The idea is I am for open schooling. So, I
Yeah.
also am affiliated for Cambridge education. So the idea is in Golden Sparrow, we use IGCSE up till grade 8. So we use the checkpoints, we use all the books. But then for ninth and 10th, we go for NIOS and open schooling. But you could be doing a state board, you could be doing an IB. It does not matter as long as your students are learning. For NIS, there's something I'm a proponent of, or evangelist. There was this wonderful person, a good friend of mine,
Mm.
Pushpa, who came down from Germany. Her daughter was in 12th. She was struggling with the certificate, and I did some work as NIS consultant. Trust me, they're so grateful. To me, NIS gives you a choice of subject that are probably there in IGCSE. It's a great board. It's the Ministry of HRD. It's a government recognized board, something I endorse, something I really value a lot. Well,
Yes.
that is what I wanted to say, that online, come fall in love with online. As Kusum ma'am invited you
Yes.
for one of her sessions, go join a session, do a demo class. Perhaps you must do something for the parents. I love to do something on the Republic Day with children.
Oh
But more
yes. Oh
importantly,
yes.
let's learn a constitution, a preamble. Kusum ma'am, is there a plan something where we can get the
Yes.
kids around?
We did do 15th August, at around 26 Jan. Probably we are just doing. We will do a very small, session with them. But mainly our focus right now is on Sports Day.
Oh, lovely.
So
Yes.
there can be, we can always do, because there's every day there is something or the other happening. Every
True,
day we are
true,
having
true. That's
something.
something
Yeah.
good. And I'm sure we've got guests around. I have my mother India, Shabana ma'am, who was all draped up in the. I thought you were in stadium, Shabana ma'am. I wish I could put a picture of you with on the celebration we had on Independence Day with all the tricolor on your face. I mean, that's
Yeah.
wonderful. I mean, are you still the mother India, Shabana ma'am? You're taking a different avatar this year.
The Black Widow.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'll
Yeah.
stay. I'll have a distance from you, but that's wonderful. We have
Uh,
Rubik cubes. There was a Chennai team I invited to have Rubik cubes for kids. Of course, because it
mm,
was around the Independence Day, they made the India flag, and the kids are so particular.
mm,
One child comes and says, "No, there has to be a blue chakra in the middle." So he put a blue dot in.
mm,
Trust me, that's what
yeah.
online classing is all about. Oh, we had Colonel Sushil Bashin, and I thank Raki and
Mm,
Anju ma'am from Teachers Academy, Teachers Help Teacher. He was all dressed up, decked up, looking handsome, and the kids were amazed. This is the kind of work we need. I had ambulance Dada come in, and I just saw him on KBC the other day with Sonu Sood, and I was so proud that the students are able to have a real live conversation with a Padma Shri. People like them who will
mm,
otherwise never meet. Or it could be international celebrities. It could be Svetlana from Russia, where I had more fathers than students coming and saying hello to her. But then I had Roscoe and Roberto from Mexico. The idea is inculcate good habits as long as it's there. You can either fight online education or you can embrace this. For me, it's all about accepting
mm.
it, bringing your good values. You can do good reading sessions
Right.
online. I know there's some great sessions. I know what Shazia ma'am does with her young tiny cuties and Newton, where she reads books, and I can see the love of reading in them. A lot of sessions online for parents. This is one of them where you come and enjoy. This is what Golden Sparrow is. There are many programs there. There are always 48 sessions in a month, and you can do a snapshot. You can ask me about it. This is how the entire classes are meant about. This is a team out there. You can see Faisal from Kolkata. There's Shabana ma'am. That's me. There's Christina there. There's Aparna ma'am, who is an amazing artist. There's Shruti ma'am, brilliant teacher. Suddenly, none of us are in the same place. Perhaps some of us have not even met each other. And that's the beauty of
Mm,
online classes. There is Vidhi in Pune, there's Alfia, there's Valeta out there. Valeta is a brilliant pre-primary head. And each one of them are contributing to make online education fun. The idea is be a part of this social change. Be a part, as I say, social change because Sugata Mitra calls it a social change. Because at some point, your son and daughter will do an online course. If not now, maybe in a university level.
mm,
If not now, maybe a
mm.
Udemy course. This is what online means. I'll leave this to my panelists to conclude on what they see the future of online education about. And that is something I would love to hear from all of you. Aisha, ma'am, would you like to share what are your thoughts on online education? How does it grow and how does it become better?
It could be better in many ways. Like we should accept it as a new normal, and I wish and I really want that in the proposed NEP NEP, we expect to see pivotal role for technology. Technology. I hope my mic is on and I'm
Yes,
able
yes,
to
we can
hear.
hear you.
Yeah.
We absolutely hear you, ma'am.
Yeah, so I just hope for the better technology in future, and I just want that this online education should be, in a continuous. It should be a continuous thing. When the school start, we should not take a full stop on that. We should go with these things because we have accepted it, and now I just want it should be go on, and
Okay,
this will
that's good.
be very much beneficial for the students and we teachers also, because many of the teachers here, I can say that we have started learning new techniques uh, of learning and teaching, like you have said, Kahoot and quiz, many more we were not aware about it. And after this pandemic we started using these tools. So we as a teacher, I want that these things should be go on in a continuous, yeah. So I just don't want it to be stopped, like when the school starts and then it ends. I
I
really
love the
don't
way
want to
you,
see that.
Aisha ma'am, I love what you said is something very close to my heart called the hybrid model,
Yeah,
where let the schools go
yeah,
on. I still want the kids to do hi-fi and want and play on the turfs and
yeah,
come to the
yes.
school, but perhaps some great teachers, I have got Ashwini ma'am all the way who does Helena Grady's, drama classes. She's not here in Navi Mumbai. I still want her to come and
Hmm.
take a class online. That's the idea that I think what you mentioned is very beautiful. Let it go on, what Celinda and says, let my, it's an old
Hmm.
story, so don't worry. Shabana ma'am, yes, Shabana ma'am, what are your thoughts for online education as you could? What are concluding remarks for online education? How do you see the future of online education?
Like the byline for Turkish Airlines is, and I'm partial to Turkish Airlines, right? So it's like globally yours, okay? And online is like broken all the barriers, okay? So it's like the access globally has been like, wow, fantastic. And I think we should go on with the hybrid model, definitely, wherein you get like, think local and be local and act global kind of thing. So you have the best of both the worlds, wherein you can have the children meeting around and having their own, like, meeting them in person. But at the same time, you are breaking the barriers and exposing them to the fantastic world out there and such more brilliant teachers out there.
I love that. And there's a very genuine question that somebody asked, and I think it's a very heartfelt question that we love the online education, but if you have two kids and one laptop or a tab, does it work? I mean, how do you say? I do have a solution, but what would you like to add, both of you, Shabana ma'am and Kusum ma'am, anyone who would like to answer that? Anything you'd like to give an advice to them?
uh,
Uh,
about the
Like,
about the
like,
mobile.
yeah, if there are no mobile available or devices are not there. Perhaps laptops, mobile may be easier to buy. What kind of advice would you give them?
Yeah, so we also have something where we do, we record videos and we send it to parents, which then parents and children can watch on the mobile in case their devices are not working. So that is one option that is there. There's also an option for children who are, probably, they don't want to be around all the others, or they find this, that happened in the beginning with us. Right now, there is no child who's not coming online. And also what happens in preschool is we tell parents that it's okay if your child is not sitting in front of the device. It doesn't matter, because children are moving around, but they listen. And there are children who probably we feel that is not sitting in one place, but if you ask them, they have all the answers.
Oh, that's
They
fine.
have
The
just
the,
all the answers.
the
Yes.
kinesthetic
So
learners,
let
right?
move around. Yeah, and and also children just fly to move around, explore, as you're speaking as well. Then for
Active
such
learner.
children, what we do is we do have classes where a teacher takes it one on one as
All
well.
right. So
So
these
there are
are
lots of
so many
options.
solutions. And where there's a will, there's always a lot of relatives. But yes, otherwise there also we
uh,
find a way.
can I interrupt?
Yes, yes, Aisha ma'am, please go ahead.
Yeah, one more solution. If the parents doesn't have two devices, the parent could have talked to the school authority, school principal or teacher, that my child will not attain all the classes regularly because I have the second child. Even his classes are important, so I will be able to attend the class alternate days. So like anything can be happen. We can do these things for education, online education. These reasons cannot stop us taking education online every time. So like alternate days we can use these mobiles. And yes, Kusum ma'am said, as Kusum ma'am said, that you provide videos, so that is the best alternative also.
I
So
agree.
yes,
Yes.
Mhm.
No.
Because we
can
do
be.
that all the time.
So
Yeah,
this
we
is
are
so
doing that
nice.
all.
I completely agree. Earlier we had this issue of Wi-Fi, and I think Professor Sugata Mitra said the three communities who do not have access to it is the Amish people, the Amazon tribe, and the Aborigines in Australia. We cannot have excuses when education is being imparted, and trust me, this is something worthy. If you think education is expensive, try ignorance, which is free, and it's very, very even more expensive. I think I agree what Surbi ma'am said. It's one-time investment in these. Save something, but absolutely do not ever think this is an investment for a child's future. Kusum ma'am, the same question, and I'll end my entire panel with that one word from you, or one closing remark from you. The future of online education, where do you see it?
So the future is here to stay, and we will have home-based and hybrid systems. So parents, my only request to all parents and educators is bring schools home. If your children cannot go to one, keep the learning on. Don't pause these few months of learning in their developmental cycle. So in these years, the need of constant stimulation and connection is needed. So in a situation like COVID, which is evolving, every day, so the interaction between all of us, that's your parents, schools, teachers, is imperative for a child. So in the everyday evolving pandemic challenges, no one person has a solution. So we need
Wow.
partnerships and relationships to thrive here, the parents, the schools, and technology as well. So we as educators, let me tell you, we are keeping the attitudes and positivity high for ourselves, our parents, and our children. And we are just a call away. So please make that call and please talk to us. And don't stop, don't pause learning. Thank you so much.
Wow, thank you so much. I
Great,
think that deserves an applause. Don't pause learning. We're just a call away. Absolutely. Goal number
great.
17, collaboration for goals and partnership. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for being a part of the panel. Thank you, each one of you, Aisha ma'am, Shabana ma'am, and Kusum ma'am. Wonderful thoughts, the clarity that you gave. And yes, Aisha ma'am, we'll talk about Edu Launchpad. She's doing a program where you can ask me about it in the opening, in the email or the WhatsApp. Once again, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful weekend, whatever weekend we leave off without the webinars, and be back to work on Monday. Thank you so much, and bye bye. Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Night.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Good night, everyone.
Bye. Thank
Thank you so
you.
much.